The sea was calm when 17-year-old Ethan boarded the small fishing boat that would take him and four friends to Black Reef Island, a place that did not appear on most maps and was surrounded by frightening legends. The old fishermen in the harbor warned them not to stay after sunset. They spoke of strange lights, disappearing travelers, and whispers that drifted across the waves on windless nights. Ethan and his friends Jake, Mia, Olivia, and Ryan laughed at the stories. They believed the island was nothing more than an abandoned piece of land that would make the perfect place for a weekend adventure. As the boat moved farther from the mainland, dark clouds gathered on the horizon, and the ocean became strangely silent. Even the seagulls disappeared. When they finally reached the island, they noticed something unsettling. The beach was untouched, as if no human had ever stepped there. Thick jungle covered most of the island, and in the center stood the ruins of an old stone lighthouse. The structure looked ancient, despite records claiming it had been built only 50 years ago. The group set up camp near the shore and spent the afternoon exploring. Everything seemed normal until Ryan discovered a rusted sign hidden among the vines. The faded words read, "Leave before dark." Beneath the warning were dozens of scratches that looked as if someone had desperately tried to erase the message. As the sun began to sink into the sea, an uneasy feeling settled over the island. Strange whispers drifted through the trees. At first they sounded like the wind, but there was no breeze. Ethan could swear he heard his name spoken softly from somewhere deep within the jungle. The others heard it too. Mia insisted they should return to the boat and leave immediately, but Jake mocked her fear and convinced everyone to stay. Darkness arrived faster than it should have. Within minutes, the island was swallowed by shadows. The campfire provided little comfort. Beyond its light, the jungle seemed alive. The whispers grew louder, circling them from every direction. Then came the first scream. It was distant but unmistakably human. The group froze. Another scream followed, this time closer. Ryan grabbed a flashlight and pointed it toward the trees. For a split second, the beam revealed a pale figure standing motionless between the trunks. Its eyes reflected the light like those of an animal. When Ryan blinked, it was gone. Panic spread through the camp. They packed their belongings and rushed toward the beach, intending to leave immediately. But when they reached the shore, the boat was missing. The rope that had secured it to a rock remained tied in place, cut cleanly in half. The ocean stretched endlessly before them. They were trapped. Fear turned to terror as a thick fog rolled across the water and onto the island. The whispers became words. Hundreds of voices spoke at once, calling each of their names. Olivia suddenly pointed toward the lighthouse. A faint yellow light glowed from its top window. "Maybe someone lives there," she said. With no other choice, the group headed toward it. The climb through the jungle felt endless. The trees seemed to move whenever they looked away. Paths twisted into impossible directions. Several times they returned to places they had already passed despite walking straight ahead. Eventually they reached the lighthouse. Its heavy wooden door stood slightly open. Inside, the air smelled of salt and decay. Dust covered every surface, yet the lantern at the top somehow burned brightly. On the wall, they discovered dozens of photographs. Each showed groups of people standing on the island throughout different decades. Tourists, sailors, explorers, all smiling at the camera. Ethan's blood ran cold when he realized none of those people had ever been reported as leaving. More horrifying was the final photograph hanging at the end of the wall. It showed the five of them standing on the beach earlier that day. The picture could not have existed. Mia began crying. Before anyone could speak, footsteps echoed from above. Slow, heavy, deliberate. Someone or something was descending the spiral staircase. The group backed away. A tall figure emerged from the darkness. It wore the tattered uniform of a lighthouse keeper. Its skin was gray and stretched tightly over its bones. Empty black eyes stared at them. When it spoke, dozens of voices came from its mouth. "You should not have come." The creature moved forward. Instantly, the group ran. They burst through the door and raced into the jungle while the whispers erupted into deafening screams. Branches clawed at their skin. Shadows darted between the trees. Ethan looked back once and saw dozens of pale figures emerging from the darkness behind them. They were the missing people from the photographs. Their faces were frozen in expressions of horror. One by one, they joined the chase. Ryan stumbled over a root and fell.